Hi, I'm Jerry Davis. Welcome to my channel. I hope I can be of some service to you today. We live in some interesting times. I got my first strike on YouTube the day before yesterday, and it was about a video, the strike was over a video that essentially the heart of the video was an interview that a local TV station did with two students at the school. One of them knew the shooter and walked with the shooter, the alleged shooter, during the event. He wasn't armed. That doesn't mean he hadn't been armed previously. Maybe he threw his rifle down. But there were two girls, and both of those girls said on to the TV interviewer that there were multiple shooters. They both said there were two, and one of the girls said that there might have been three. And YouTube took down the video. So I sent him an email. I said, hey, you might want to review this, because that video was a video of a local news reporter interviewing two students. It wasn't anything that I said that was, violated their terms of use. YouTube just took it down. I had a vision years ago. And in the vision, and it was extremely powerful, but the core of the vision is this, that there is a great sword, a violent sword, swinging to the earth. Bad is coming. But then the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, I am coming to separate the righteous from the unrighteous. Who is righteous? The righteous are those that keep the commands of Yahuwah. That is the definition of righteousness. Keeping the commands of Yahuwah. Well, if you don't know those commands, then you are lawless. Because sin is transgression of the law. That's the biblical definition of sin, transgression of the law. And righteousness, the biblical definition of righteousness, is adhering to the commands of Yahuwah. So if he's coming to separate the righteous from the unrighteous, then he's coming to separate those who keep the laws of God. So don't, you can, if you want to go through the rest of your life, and it will be short, saying that we're not under the law, you'll pay the ultimate price for your lawlessness. Those are words right out of the Bible, spoken from the mouth of God. So don't let the mouth of some other person tell you otherwise. And you can look these things up. But I want to talk to you about the times that we live in. It's very important. And let's look at some scripture first. Let's look at Matthew chapter 24. Yahusha is walking with his disciples. And I'll read this. You can read along with me. And having gone forth from the temple, Jesus was going away, and his disciples came to him and pointed out to him the buildings of the temple. And answering, he said, do you not see all these things? Truly I say to you, not even a stone shall be left here upon a stone, which will not be thrown down. So they thought the temple was, and it was fantastic, but it would be destroyed. And he goes on to say, as he was sitting upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him in private, saying, tell us when these things will be, and what is the sign of your coming and the consummation of the age? Okay. The end. And Yahusha answered, saying to them, take heed lest anyone mislead you, for many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and they will mislead many. And yeah, we know that has happened many, many times, worldwide. And you will begin to hear of wars and rumors of wars, like the Korean thing, or the North Korean thing. Behold, do not be alarmed. So Jesus is telling you, don't be alarmed. For it is necessary to take place, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise up against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And that's very important. A nation is a race of people. blacks, whites, Indians, Chinese, Japanese, pick them. Races of people. That's what a nation is. A nation is also a group of like-minded people, but typically and biblically a nation is a race of people. So you're talking about one race will rise up against another race, and we're experiencing so much of that now. All of these things Jesus said must happen. So don't get too cranked up about it. It's unfortunate. We all hate it. But there's nothing that can be done. We can pray, but the end is coming. Now, because there are very few righteous people. The scripture says, I think it's in Daniel, when the power of the holy people is finally broken, then the end will come. So certainly the end will come, and certainly the power of the holy people is breaking. And there's not much gas left in the tank. There are few of us, particularly few, who keep the laws of Yahuwah, who consider his commands to be the path to life. And they are. But let's get back to this. For nation will rise up against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines and earthquakes in various places. And all these are the beginning of birth pains. It's the beginning of the birth pains. Then he goes on to say, then they will deliver you to tribulation. Now, what does that mean? I think, well, I mean, obviously, we will be delivered up to suffer. But it also means that there will be worldwide tribulation. Worldwide. It will be created. This tribulation will be manufactured worldwide to deliver you to tribulation. And will kill you. Okay, cool. You know, my pride says that I want to fight against that to the best of my ability. And I have some ability. But my spirit says, let them do it. Get it over with. Let it end. And I think that if I'm ever thrown into a prison camp or anything like that, it will be a time of great ministry. It will be a holy time. And it will be good. It will be beautiful even though it was terrible. And will kill you, and you will be hated by all the nations, okay? All the races of people on account of my name. So he's talking about those who follow Yahushua. And then many will fall away, and they will betray one another. So you're going to have people in your own family that will betray you to the beast system, to the Antichrist, to the police, to whoever. They're going to betray you. And that will hurt. They will hate one another, and many false prophets will arise and will lead many astray. And because lawlessness is to be multiplied, lawlessness, again, is transgression of the law, the love of many will grow cold. But the one having endured to the end will be saved. So see, there's a qualification there. If you don't endure to the end, you won't be saved. So you could go around saying, I love Jesus, I'm saved, I've been baptized, I was baptized when I was an infant. The Pope sprinkled water on me. I'm saved because I'm a Republican, or I'm saved because I was born in Texas, or, whatever. And even preachers are going to fall into this category. Not all of them, obviously. But the love of many will grow cold. The one having endured to the end, he will be saved. Or she. That person. So you must endure to the end. Don't stop 10 feet before the finish line. And this gospel of the kingdom will be proclaimed to the whole earth for a testimony to all the nations, and then the end will come. And then it goes on, it talks, there's more here. But that's what I wanted to tell you, that there is a time coming. And it's basically on us now. There's a time coming when everyone will be hated. Everyone will be hated. But not everyone will hate. You don't have to hate. So don't fall into it. You're going to have to let go of some prejudices, some real anger that it is justified. You're going to have to let it go. The move is on. It has begun. It has begun. That strike against me on YouTube. I mean, it is all over YouTube. I subscribe to a lot of really, like BP Earthwatch. BP Earthwatch, he's a good guy. He stays on top of things. Stephen Danoon of the Danoon Institute. Israeli News Live, I think is his YouTube channel title. He's concerned, and I sent him my email address yesterday. Told me to add me to his. He's got a backup list so that he can reach out to people if he gets shut down. And I'm moving. I know I'm going to be shut down on YouTube. I know that I will be. So I'm going to move my videos to. I think it's going to be BitChute, BITCHUTE. It looks good. The video reproduction is good. It's a little bit difficult on my end as a web developer to implement or integrate into my WordPress website, which is jerrywdavis.com. You should go and subscribe to jerrywdavis.com. Just go and subscribe, and when I publish anything, you'll get a notice that it's been published, and you can read it or not. But I'll also have videos there, and I'll be here. I will be here. I will continue to encourage you until the end, until I'm gone, until I'm arrested, until I'm killed. It's coming, and we need to come to grips with that some of us will be hunted. Remember in Revelation, I think it's chapter 12 or chapter 13, the red dragon comes to destroy those who have the testimony of Jesus and keep his commands. So the testimony of Jesus obviously is salvation, and keep his commands obviously keep his commands. And Jesus said, those who keep my commands are the ones who love me. Satan wants us destroyed. But I just want to show you some news. This is an article about YouTube deletes entire Health Ranger video channel, deletes over 1,700 videos. The Health Ranger, he's a scientist and a doctor, and he has transformed my health. Natural News is his website, and you should go and you should subscribe to it. Just subscribe to Natural News. I think it's naturalnews.com. He's not all into the drugs and pharmaceuticals, and we know that they poison us with their pills in order to get us to, basically it's a monthly subscription. Every month we get a prescription for a month, and then we have to go back. It's a monthly renewable subscription for life, and they'll give you medicine that treats something, but it creates other problems elsewhere for which you must have another prescription. And their goal, of course, is to get you onto as many prescriptions as your body can stand, and they never cure anything. Have you noticed that? There's no money in curing disease. The money is in treating disease, and so they treat these diseases. They try to alleviate symptoms and things like that, but you still have the disease, and if you ever stop taking their drug, it comes roaring back. That's the drug companies. They're devils. But anyway, so reading here, Mike Adams, in the latest gross violation of free speech committed by the radical left-wing tech giants, YouTube has now deleted the entire Health Ranger video channel, wiping out over 1,700 videos, covering everything from nutrition, natural medicine, history, science, and current events. And I'm telling you, Mike Adams does a heck of a job, an incredible superhuman job. I can't speak highly enough of the guy. It says over the last 2 weeks, YouTube has been on a censorship rampage that is apparently run by the SPLC, the Southern something leadership conference. communists. They are monsters. A radical left-wing hate group that despises Christianity, the Second Amendment, and patriots in particular. Yeah, I'm one of those patriots. I've been on their list for a long time. I know. I am quite talented and skilled regarding some things on the internet, and I know there is a list, and I am on it. Hundreds of prominent conservative video channels have been targeted for termination by YouTube, leading many independent media leaders like myself to call for government regulation of YouTube to protect free. But you know that there's no government outcry. The Republicans aren't saying anything. Nothing. The so-called conservatives in Congress and in the Senate, not a word. Not a peep. It's bad. InfoWars. You know, you've heard of Alex Jones. 24 hours later, his channel's taken down. Can you believe it? A couple of million subscribers. He's the one that educated me on 9/11. I saw the videos. I saw the proof. And that was in 2005. I remember I was slamming my fist on my desk saying, no, I couldn't believe it. And it's not that I was arguing with the truth. I could not argue with the facts. There they were. I was slamming my fist on my desk saying, no, because I couldn't believe that people in our own government would murder 3,000 innocent human beings as a kickoff to this global, beast system. And that's exactly what it was, to establish a beast system. Understand that this is the opening salvo of the war against America. And yes, it started back in 1981. A fellow by the name of William Cooper, who is a brilliant man. I mean, and a really decent human being. But apparently he had inside information. I don't know exactly what his background is, but I was listening to an old audio recording of him yesterday, and he was talking about this rose. He says when they present a rose at one of these mass killings, this was right after Columbine, I think, when he made the video, so that wasn't 81, but he said there's something, or association of a rose is symbolic, and that when it's, anyway, he said this, the implication was that this Valentine's Day slaughter that took place in Florida was the sign. They're going to shut down the right. They're going to shut down the Christians. And there isn't anything we can do about it. Donald Trump, after that thing in Florida, don't put your faith in men, and don't put your faith in Donald Trump. I believe he is the man that Yahuwah wanted to be president of the United States, and I've worked hard for him, and I know that I influenced tens of thousands of people to vote for him. Now, they might have been going to vote for him anyway, but they were visitors to my website. Even the Trump campaign was on my website. They were considering me for something, obviously, because it went to my whole website got scanned, from sources in Atlanta and also New York, and his campaign headquarters was in New York, so it got forwarded to somebody. But I think that my testimony might have made them scratch their head and go, maybe not. Maybe not. I am the real thing. I am the real thing. If you ever say, yeah, you know what? I know one Christian dude. I know a man who is committed. That's me. I'm not Billy Graham. I did work for Billy Graham for a year. I had dinner at John Hagee's house at his dining room table one evening. I mean, I've been fairly well connected, but I'm, I think kind of like a lone wolf, I just don't, I'm not all into the people thing, because people are corrupt. People are dangerous. The heart of man is fickle. We can't go by our heart. We can't go by how we feel. But yeah, I did work for Billy Graham, and I got the job through John Hagee, and that was all the doing of Yahuwah. I don't know. You know, it was just came out of the blue. All the good things in my life that have ever happened have happened at the hand of God. He did it, and I had nothing to do with it, and it was a big surprise when it happened. So you can rely on him. I do. Anyway, Trump here. Here's what he says. Take the guns first. Go through due process second. So, you know, I understand that. If you've got some kind of wacko, I mean, this kid in Florida, he put it on YouTube, commented, you know, he was going to be the next great school shooter. And the guy that on the YouTube channel where he made that comment contacted the FBI, told him, sent him a screenshot, and the FBI called the guy that owned the YouTube channel. They never got in touch with the shooter. So that's either by incompetence or by design. Isn't that special? FBI. They could have stopped it, and they didn't. Here's a high school teacher. He supported teachers being armed, and he said so. And he got suspended. Well, you can't do that in a government school. The government school's job is to take the minds of the students, take possession of that mind, take possession of their belief system. That's what the schools do. And he got suspended. Trump said the same thing. Let's put some qualified armed individuals in those schools. I would do it. I'm qualified. I would do it. Google. Shadow banning conservative websites and content. Google lists Planned Parenthood as the top pro-life website. May I repeat that? Google lists Planned Parenthood as the top pro-life website. Yeah. There's a picture or something right there. It's not showing up. But I mean, this is where we are. We got some mass casualty events. Sorry about that. We have some mass casualty events scheduled in the United States. I think 4 of them here. Yeah, here we go. Dallas, Houston, Anchorage, and Louisville. You know, anytime they schedule a mass casualty event for your town, get out of town. Dallas, March the 8th. Houston, March the 2nd. I didn't hear everything going on in Houston the day before yesterday. But you never know. And interesting here is one in Louisville. It demands that the crisis actors be discreet. I don't know what's up with that. But I just wanted to go over some of these news things with you. The move is on to silence the right. And this is not something that's going to go away. It's going to accelerate and get worse. There will be some really terrible things happen. The wolves are being loosed with sharpened teeth. But remember that Yahusha, the one you probably call Jesus, he said these things will happen, but to fear not. So, I myself have to struggle sometimes about the fear because I'm starting to feel the evil all around me. And I can't stop it. And the end will come. It's coming. And before it gets here, it's going to be nasty. Remember that vision that I had of the flaming sword? I had it 3 consecutive times in short order. And there was something coming. It was. I was in my room on a Saturday afternoon, and I was doing some writing, or in my at my computer. And it was a sunny, beautiful day, and I had been in some really heavy-duty communications with Yahuwah. I had been we call it prayer, but it's a way of life for me. I always talk to Him. Always. I'm constantly throughout the day, every day of my life, year after year, I talk to Him. And I turned around in my chair, just spun around and looked up at my ceiling, and I just saw stars all around me, left, right, or just the stars of space. And then it was over. But in those stars, there was a sword. There's this great sword swinging towards, I couldn't see myself. I couldn't see the earth. But you assume as a human being that's where you're standing, because you're looking up at the stars. So I'm looking up at the stars, and there's this sword swinging through space, giant, towards me, where I am. And then it was over. And I'm looking around at the walls of my room, and the sun coming through the window, and then before I really had time to process anything, bam, there it was again, the stars of space, this great sword swinging to the earth. But the second time, the blade of the sword was in flames, and then it was over. And I'm still sitting at my chair. There's the window. I'm looking at my room going, I'm really starting to wonder, wow. And then, bam, it happened again. I think all of this happened within a minute. There are the stars. There's this flaming sword swinging down through space. And it's getting closer, and it's getting bigger. And this time, I could hear the roar of the flames. It was thunderous loud, big time, bad, coming. And that's when I heard the Lord speak to me. And He said, I am coming to separate the righteous from the unrighteous. Now that sword could have represented the dragon that's coming to kill, to destroy those who have the testimony of Jesus and who keep His commands. There's 2 things there. Have the testimony and keep His commands. That is the way. Go to my website and read about the way. But that's the way. You accept salvation through Jesus Christ, and you keep His commands. You study the Torah. That is, by definition, the way. And that's why Paul was arrested. The way is a noun. It is the religion of Jesus, the way. But he said, I'm coming to separate the righteous from the unrighteous. And the righteous are those who keep the commands of Yahuwah. The righteous seed of Abraham are those who keep the commands of Yahuwah. Not necessarily, the genetic bloodline from Abraham through out to the Hebrew Jews, that's not the righteous. The righteous are anybody who keeps the commands of Yahuwah. Those are the righteous, because that is what righteousness is, keeping His commands. So He's coming to separate us from everyone else. I don't know what that's going to look like. Are we going to be taken out of the earth? There's a neat scripture in Isaiah that talks about the death of the righteous. And it could be that we just die. Our bodies hit the ground, boom. And that could be a rapture moment, because when we're raptured, our physical bodies aren't going to heaven. Did you ever think about that? If you're raptured, your physical body ain't making a trip. You're going to go. But your physical body won't go. It's going to fall down like a sack of potatoes on the ground. Boom. It is dead. It doesn't live anymore. That's cool. You're not going to care. You will be so happy. So when he says he's coming to separate the righteous from the unrighteous, then perhaps that's it. And that sword, I don't know if that sword, that flaming sword, it sounds like God. It sounds like that's what he's going to do. He's coming to the earth to strike the earth and claim his people. He didn't say bring us home. He said separate the righteous from the unrighteous. So it's going to be whatever it's going to be. But I want to tell you, in all of this stuff, I will be here. I will be here. I will do everything that the Yahuwah empowers me to do to be a person for you. Someone you can count on. Someone you can rely on. I might not always be right, but I will always love him, and I will always love you. You are my brother. You are my sister. If you're an atheist, you're not here. I mean, the unrighteous don't want to hear what I have to say. But those who do want to hear what I have to say, Yahuwah has brought you to this point. He brought you to me, and he gives me to you. And I want to serve him in the best way I can serve. There are many things I could do. I could go and make a ton of money doing different things. And I just reject that, because there is nothing more important with my life than to reach out to save souls. So what does that mean, saving souls? Does that mean introduce them to Jesus so that they get saved, baptized, and presto, they're done? No, that's not what that means. To gather as many of his people as I can means introduce them to Jesus, guide them to the point of salvation, and then teach them the way. That's what he wants. And that's what I want to do, because I know for certain that's the most important thing. I told my wife the other day, we were talking about something, and my website, the videos that I do, the time I spend involved in this came up as part of the conversation, not in a negative way, but it just came up. And I told her, I said, I have to do what Yahuwah has called me to do. It's the most valuable thing in my life, more valuable than you, more valuable than our children. And I love them with all my heart, and I would gladly die for them. But most important is reading the Word and reaching out to people. That's the most important thing. Thank you for your time. Read your Bible, pray, and reach out to me anytime. Anytime you have a question or something you want to talk about, I'm here. In fact, I'm fixing to do a teaching on the chapter 8 of Hebrews. I got a request from an individual who's skeptical, and he thinks that chapter 8 of Hebrews negates all the law and just points everything to the new covenant. And if you just sit there and read it and don't understand what you're reading, that's exactly what it means. If you don't understand what you're reading, it does say that it does communicate that out with the old, in with the new. But if you know what the words mean and what they're describing, then you understand the law is and will always be. Jesus, I mean, come on, here it is. God himself says so. No one jot nor tittle of the law will pass away until the end of all things. And people go, well, but the law passed away. People fight and rebel against God, and they will, to their dying breath, they'll hold on to what they want to hold on to instead of holding on to what he has given us. And we all struggle with it. I do it too. There's plenty of times where I want to do what I want to do. And I want to kind of push back, what he wants me to do. It's human nature. What did Paul say? The carnal mind is enmity to God. The carnal mind, the physical, fleshly mind. We think about, what about me? What about what I want? But our lives here are short. Un poquito, little bitty. We're not going to have much time here. Don't blow it. You got to keep your eye on the main thing, the prize. Run the race to the end. Stand until the end. And don't stop short. I'm Jerry Davis. I love you.